All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the GLP-1 Medical Weight Loss Education, where science meets sustainable transformation. My name is Brittany Cano. I'm a registered nurse of almost 20 years. Hard to believe that it's been that long already. And I wanted to put this information together because I know a lot of you are currently taking a GLP-1, thinking about it, know somebody who's on it, and there's a lot of misinformation out there. And from what I have seen, from what the research is showing, this can be so life-changing for people. And so I just wanted to give you the facts, give you the information, and let you know more about it and how it's a tool, how you are the secret sauce when it comes to anything that you're doing. But this can be a tool to support you in your overall wellness journey. So first of all, let's start off with what even has you wanting to learn more about this? Why is lowering inflammation, boosting, elevating your health, and perhaps releasing some extra weight that maybe is really weighing you down and interfering with your health? Why does that matter to you? Like, what do you truly want for your health? I'm going to invite you to just go ahead and take a pause with me. Maybe you even close your eyes if you're not driving. And just take a deep inhale. Fill yourself up with that in breath and maybe pause at the top of the inhale. And then a slow, steady, calm exhale out through the mouth. Relax shoulders, relax the body. Go ahead and do that a couple more times. Deep breaths in. Starting to bring awareness to your heart space. Maybe for the first time today, dropping out of the mind, out of the thinking, and connecting more fully with your body and with yourself. What is it that you truly want for your life? What is it that you truly want for your health? My guess is there's a voice in you that is whispering or yelling, saying, hey, there's something more for me. I want to be healthy. I want to have more energy. Is this all there is? For some of you, it's going to be you want to travel, you want to feel more confident in your skin. Maybe you're dealing with health issues. Maybe you're just sick and tired, honestly, of being sick and tired. So I look at GLP-1s, which I'm going to talk more about what they are, as something to support quality of life. And that is really why I changed my mind about them. When I saw what a difference they have made in the lives of so many of my clients, so many friends that I know, so many people that I've met and interacted with, just how life-changing they've been and how they really support quality of life and improving quality of life, which is what holistic nurse coaches is all about. That's what I'm all about. That's what had me start my company, is to help people have better quality of life. And I was like, okay, there's something here. And I want to just share more information about that. So there's also, if you've ever dealt with struggling with your weight, if you've ever dealt with body image issues, if you've ever dealt with food noise or an eating disorder, there's an emotional side of weight loss. I know personally I've experienced it. My weight has been something that I definitely struggled with. I definitely have dealt with disordered eating, body image issues. And fortunately, through a lot of work, I feel like I'm in a better place, but it's still an ongoing struggle for me. Adults with obesity, they face a 55 higher percent higher risk of depression. The diet culture that, most of us are somehow influenced by, I don't even know how you can't be in our day and age, it fuels guilt, has us feel shame, and then that creates a cycle, right? We get stuck in that loop, stuck in that cycle, and it also puts unrealistic expectations, right? Even more than ever, we're dealing with filters that people are putting on. We don't really get the whole truth. We have a lot of influence from our TV, from our media outlet, and we all know that there's a lot of unrealistic expectations there. The food noise. I mean, I wish that I would have known about GLP-1s when I was in the midst of my food addiction, honestly, because it was hell and it was struggling. And anybody who deals with food noise, you know how it is, right? Your whole day is spent thinking about food. What am I going to eat? No, I'm not going to eat that. I'm going to eat this, obsessing about it. For me, sugar used to be straight up a drug. I remember I was doing a detox, going to do a detox, and stop sugar. So I go to Publix and I get big cookies, I think stuffed with whipped filling, and I'm in the parking lot and I'm like, have this like high eating them like this is going to be my last cookies and just obsessed. And I'm like, this is what drug addicts go through. And except that was my drug at the time, sugar. And at that time, let's be honest, alcohol as well. And so to be free of that has been so powerful, so beautiful for me. And so I think that if that's something you're struggling with, imagine not having that, like how much liberation and how much freedom that can open up for you. And I also want to say that there's other ways that that might be possible as well, through mental health support, through spiritual support, through really going to the root cause. I know for me, it was a lot of unprocessed trauma that I dealt with. Body image struggles, they can lead to lower confidence, self-esteem, which we all know if we've ever struggled with any of that. And so really sharing this information with you is that it's not even about the weight, it's really about what it creates for you, what it opens up. So what are GLP-1s? They are small chain amino acids. And they've identified all kinds of peptides. I'm like obsessed with peptides right now. And if anybody knows me, I even dreamed about BPC 157 last night because we've identified that specific chains of amino acids have different healing benefits and really turn on, they're like keys that turn on what we naturally have occurring in the body, but maybe have been damaged from illness or a trauma, whether it was getting really sick or a virus, or we're dealing with autoimmune condition, or maybe we're getting older. All of these things can start to decrease these peptides in our body. And so what is a GLP-1? It stands for glucagon-like peptide. It's a natural hormone. It helps boost insulin. It reduces glucagon. It slows digestion, helps us stay fuller longer, and it can curb the appetite. Helps stabilize blood sugar. Originally, for about 20 years, they were given to type 2 diabetes patients. And then they started seeing that, oh, people actually can lose weight with these. And now many of us know them as a weight loss medication. But what they do is they also really help stabilize the blood sugar, which is so, so important in our overall health. That is one of the things I've become also quite interested in, the glucose goddess and all of the things that she shares. And keeping our blood sugar stable is so important. It affects our mental health, it affects our immunity, it affects our energy levels, it affects our mood, it affects our weight, it affects overall inflammation in the body. So really, really important. And they also may help with energy metabolism, lowering cholesterol, lowering blood pressure, cognitive health, and those things are have found in some studies. Of course, everybody's situation varies to some degrees too, though I don't want to, I'm not making any medical claims. I just want to show you what the research shows. So you'll see over here that clinical trials show that GLP-1 therapies can reduce cardiovascular risk and kidney disease in people with obesity or type 2 diabetes, like we talked about the type 2 diabetes. Cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer across the world. In the first half of the year, men or of lifetime, men are at least 50% likely to deal with a cardiovascular incident. Women, as we get older and we don't have that hormone protection and we go through perimenopause and end up in menopause, and then our cardiovascular risk starts to really increase. So really important that we're taking care of our health. The emerging dual and coagonist GLP-1s with the GIP or the GLP-1 glucagon, like tirzepatide, for example, they, again, can help with weight loss, and they're showed to have even greater weight loss, typically less symptoms, and we'll get into symptoms, and just overall better metabolic improvements. I think the last statistic I read was like 74% of Americans are, it's either overweight or obese. So GLP-1s are being studied for non-traditional indications now too. Alzheimer's disease. You may have heard that they're calling that the type 3 diabetes, metabolic liver disease, so MASH or NAFLD, or diabetic retinopathy or sleep apnea. And then there's groundbreaking studies showing that 41% lower incidence of obesity-linked cancers, the big percent, right, in GLP-1 users. So it's similar to bariatric surgery, but can potentially be safer. So these are some things I want you to know about GLP-1s. One is that there's different types of medications. There's the semaglutide, which is also known as Ozempic, Wegovy, Wellbeing. There's also oral dosing coming out. Tirzepatide, which is that dual GLP-1 GIP agonist, and it stronger results in stronger weight loss and blood sugar stabilization. And then again, there's new options coming about for oral. And then there's a next generation, which is dual triple agonist, and they're supposed to have even more metabolic benefit. Most people will take them by injection, and usually it's once a week. Of course, this needs to go through a medical provider. It needs to be supervised. You want to be sure you make sure you're doing this safely, and we'll go into that more here shortly. There are some other supplement ways to take GLP-1. There's protein shakes that have it in it. There's also oral or sublingual, there's tablets, and there's also, I believe I saw that there's a patch. So I just want to encourage you to do your research on those, depending on your goals, to see how effective they are. Everything I've seen shows that it's most effective when given by injection, which makes sense. It's just more bioavailability of the peptide. Not to say that the other options cannot be great options as well. I don't want to say, I'm not saying that. So who benefits most? So this is where you can start thinking like, okay, maybe I'm interested. Am I even a candidate? Is this a good fit for me? And of course, you always want to talk to your medical provider as well, but it's so important that you're your own advocate. So if you have type 2 diabetes, definitely something to explore for you. If you have obesity or you're overweight, if your BMI is greater than 27 or equal to 27. And you can calculate your BMI pretty easily. There's BMI calculators online. You need your weight and you need your height. So people with cardiovascular disease, it helps reduce the risk of a heart attack, stroke, and heart failure. So are you somebody who's at risk of cardiovascular disease? Do you have high cholesterol? Do you run with a high blood pressure or a high heart rate? Do you smoke? Do you drink a lot of alcohol? Do you have a strong family history of it? Are you under an intense amount of stress? All of these things do increase our cardiovascular disease risk. Patients with chronic kidney disease, it may slow the progression. Again, you're going to want to make sure this is appropriate for you. Adults struggling with weight loss resistance despite healthy lifestyle. And that's another reason that I'm like, I want to bring this to my people. I have worked with women and I just see their efforts. I see, and men too, see them. I work primarily with women. I see their dedication to their exercise, dedication to keep doing the work that they need to take care of their mind, to take care of their emotions. They're walking it, right? And they're still struggling. The food noise is so loud, or they're really not eating that much, and they're still 40, 50, 60 pounds overweight. So I really think that this can be a great tool, a great launch into creating that lifestyle, creating the body, the health that you really want. So also who benefits? Those with metabolic syndrome. I kind of touched on this: high blood pressure, cholesterol, insulin resistance. So who's at higher risk for side effects, or maybe who should not take a GLP-1? This, I've seen both a mix of information, but history of medullary thyroid cancer or MEN2 syndrome. So if that's you, really look into the risk versus benefit ratio there. If you're pregnant or breastfeeding, you're not going to start on a GLP-1. If you really have severe GI disease, especially the gastroparesis, or like just you're in a huge flare up with gut disease, you may not be wanting to start on a GLP-1, but there's other peptides such as BPC-157 that's really great for healing the gut. And there's also other options in the world of peptides. It might be a better intro or a great place to start if you have that severe GI disease. One of the reasons with gastroparesis, which is that delayed of the GI tract, slowing of digestion, that's one of the ways that the GLP-1s work. They have a little delay in slowing of digestion. So if you already have that, adding to that could just be really bad for your overall health and cause you some problems. If you have pancreatitis or gallbladder disease, you may want to, again, look into, is this the best fit for me? And that is a risk factor for some people. And there's some lifestyle pieces that we're going to talk about that can help hopefully prevent that from happening as well. And then somebody who's a really frail older adult who is at a high risk for malnutrition, or somebody who just the muscle loss so quickly can be a problem as well. Side effects. A lot of people initially do deal with the nausea, about 50% of people. With my clients, I have like holistic remedy kit that I support them with to help with those side effects. For a lot of people, it does subside after they've been on it for a while. Some people end up with diarrhea. Some people end up with vomiting. It's not uncommon for me to get a call for IV vitamin hydration to somebody's house who just started, and maybe it's just their body's adjusting to it. And so for a couple of weeks, it might be a little challenging. What I've seen is that for a lot of people, that subsides with time. Constipation, bloating, abdominal pain, indigestions, all those things you're prone to, just being proactive can go a long way. And there's also some other things you can do to help minimize the side effects. Some people do deal with headache and fatigue. And we touched already on the other side effects that can happen. But again, you want to make sure you're pairing it with lifestyle. So what are some of the pitfalls? And this is one of the reasons I wanted to be in this space to support you, is because y'all know I'm so big about lifestyle medicine, and that we want to look at things that are sustainable and really going to help us with our longevity, going to help us with our quality of life. So what can you do if you decide to start a GLP-1, or maybe you're on one, but you just got started, or you're like, is there anything else I can do to make this work for me? First thing is combine it with an anti-inflammatory diet, eating more real foods. Our food has a lot of stuff in it these days, guys. It's making us sick. So I'm going to encourage you to eat more berries and apples and oranges and vegetables, green leafy vegetables, all the color of the rainbow of the vegetables. You'll really want to optimize protein. Lean protein is huge. And if you don't know how much protein you're getting a day, I'm going to encourage you, track it for a week. And most of us are pretty surprised that we're getting like 50 grams of protein a day, some people, and so you really pairing it with protein is going to be so important, because it's going to help protect that muscle mass. It's going to help keep you fuller longer. Those amino acids in the protein are really important for our overall health as well. And of course, these are general recommendations. You can always, if you have any kind of kidney disease or issues with protein, it may apply differently. Daily movement. I'm going to make sure you're adding strength training. I cannot preach that enough. So important, that because you're going to lose weight. More than likely, if you take a GLP-1, it's a very, 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 very high probability that you're going to start to lose weight. Some people start to lose weight really, really fast. And in that weight loss, it's not just all fat, not how the body typically works. A lot of time you start cutting into that muscle. And so what I really don't want to happen for you is that you'll lose all this muscle mass. Research shows that unless you're on it for type 2 diabetes, a lot of people are only on them for a max of 2 years. At the end of your journey, whether it's 3 months, whether it's 2 years, if you haven't implemented these lifestyle changes, it's going to be hard for you, right? You are going to maybe have a slower metabolic rate than you did before you started. Your metabolism would be slower because you've lost all your muscle and you've, essentially wasted away. You might be thinner, but your metabolic health, if you don't implement these lifestyles, it's going to make it hard to make this sustainable. And I really, like I said, I want to support you in having great quality of life, having your activity level, your energy levels for as long as we can. So what does it even matter? The lifestyle change and the weight gain can be common if you don't put the lifestyle pieces in there. Muscle loss without the strength training and the protein, you're going to have a weaker metabolism. We talked about that. You also might be more fatigued, and we want to take care of our bones, because that weight loss comes from all kinds of places. We want to make sure we're being really nourished during the weight loss journey. Long-term well-being requires more than an appetite suppressant. Any of us who've ever done a diet or took all the weight loss things, the pills, or anything at all, if you've had bariatric surgery, that it requires more than just your appetite being gone or the weight being gone. It really is that holistic approach. When I say holistic, mental health, emotional health, spiritual health, as well as our relationships, our work, all of that plays a key part. So holistic support, this is what I, really specialize in, is helping you manage stress. The mindfulness practices, breath work, getting to the root cause of what the cravings are really about. That's what I mentioned was a big part of my journey throughout this was, the food was a go-to and a comfort for pain that, was really hard to navigate. But I wanted to say you're powerful and you can do this, whatever it is that you're setting out to do right now. We make sure you're sleeping. Sleep is so, so important. We're just now starting to understand all the benefits of sleep. Make sure you get at least 7 to 9 hours. And again, your relationships, accountability. I love that when clients work with me for GLP-1s, we have that community option as well. Community is so huge to know, like, okay, other people are on this walk with me. Other people are on this journey with me. So you want to be your own advocate. Then there are other peptides that maybe you're like, GLP-1 sounds pretty interesting, but I'm wondering, is there another peptide that could be more supportive with what my health goals are, what my symptoms are? We can talk. So questions to ask. And always just really, I want to encourage you, be your own advocate, right? Am I a good candidate for this based on my health and risk factors? And do your own research, and you know yourself better than anybody. And if you think you are a good candidate, why are you a good candidate? What are the benefits? And what are the benefits that you're looking for? And what are the side effects? We talked about side effects. What are the risks? How can you work to negate those side effects and risks? How are you going to monitor your progress? Whether it's your blood work, whether it's vital signs. I always encourage all my clients who start, write everything that you're feeling right now. Because you'll forget, because you're going to feel really good before you know it, more than likely. So does your left hip hurt all the time? Do you wake up 5 times a night? Are you bloated? Are you freaking exhausted come 2 o'clock in the afternoon? Are you moody? Are none of your clothes fit? The list goes on and on. And then what lifestyle changes do you need to pair with them? We talked about it, but write this out. Know your blood work. So they're going to give you just some standard and functional blood work that I think everybody needs to have checked. For metabolic health, a hemoglobin A1C, fasting glucose, insulin, lipids, your cholesterol panel, triglycerides, also an ApoB and a lipoprotein. Important, inflammation, at least a CRP and a homocysteine. For kidney, your basic, and then also ALT, AST is for liver. And then thyroid panel, there's more in-depth thyroid labs that I encourage people to have as well, especially if there are any kind of imbalances in the thyroid. Vitamin D, super important, and then cortisol levels have indicated. And then you want to make sure you're sharing all of your information with your provider so that they know everything about you. And then partnering with people who listen to you is so important. There are really great providers out there, and you deserve to be listened to. There's a lot of medical gaslighting that can happen, and your symptoms can be dismissed. Please don't accept that. There's somebody who will help you, and we got to do our own work and be our own advocate. That's so important. But also sometimes, I hate to say it, like, healthcare system is just bombarded, and there's not a lot of time that the provider necessarily is going to be able to spend with you, and they may not know. And instead of saying, like, hey, I can refer you to this person, they might just blow off your symptoms. So I want you to be your own advocate and collaborate, work with people who listen. And then why quality matters. And this is why I work with the company that I do. So through my medical supervisor for my IV business, I can order peptides for my clients. That's an option. But as a nurse, I felt that I'm not a doctor. I'm not an upper level, and I want my patients. I want what's best for my patients, for my clients, for my people, for my friends. So I love that when you work with me for peptides, for GLP-1, you do get medical supervision. You get your health screening through them. You have patient access portal. You're going to get support from me. Like I said, lifestyle is huge. As much or as little. I have some people who they're like, I got this. I'm good. I know what to do. This was like the tool I needed. And like, I'm off to the races. And other people have more questions or need more support. And I'm here to be there for you. In the peptide world, there's a lot of research grade peptides out there. There's a lot of people with labs. There's a lot of people making peptides. I don't want to say in their kitchen because I don't know that to be true, but there can be the wild, wild west. And so it was important to me that I can't recommend a research grade peptide as a nurse to anybody. And, it says on those sites, not for human consumption. And I'm sure some of those sites are okay. But I can't risk that. I don't want you to risk that. The compounding pharmacy I work with is NABP accredited. They work with third party testing. And like on the GLP-1s, the potency is 114 to 117%, which is very high. And you also have the option of using your FSA, HSA, and financing. If you're like, well, I don't, that's not an option for me, see if you qualify. If you're obese, if you have sleep apnea, if you're having health issues related to your weight, see if you can run this through your insurance as well. That way, is a great way to do it, right? So what are the next steps? You can book a free peptide consult with me so you can tell me what you have going on. It's totally confidential. I can educate you on the different peptides and you can make a decision what's best for you. Or perhaps you're like, this is exactly what I'm looking for. Or maybe you were on a GLP for a while and you're like, I want to restart. I want to really restart and lock in and build my foundation of healthy habits. And so you're ready to get going. I can send you the link and you can go directly to my website. From the website, what you're going to do is you're going to upload your ID. We need to make sure that you are who you say you are. You're going to fill out a health questionnaire. It's going to be reviewed by the medical team. If you're approved, you're going to be able to place your order. It's going to ship directly to your house. It's super simple. You can be anywhere in the country, which I love. All your supplies, all the instructions, easy peasy. If for some reason there's something in your medical history that the provider says, you know what, I want to have a conversation with you and just make sure, or I want to see your blood work, or I want to talk to you about this, they'll schedule a time to talk to you and then decide if you're approved or not. So all good information. I really am grateful to be able to give this information, share this information with you. Any questions you have, you can reach out to me. We're going to go offline so that you can ask your questions in private, or you can always reach out to me, but stay connected. Share with somebody what you learned today. And just really remember, like, we have one life. This is the only life that we have. You have this one body. So like, let's take care of it. Let's enjoy it. As my friend Candy says, there's fun to be done. And working in ICU all those years, and even on my own health journey and people that I know, the human body, the human being is amazing and miraculous and wants to heal and live and thrive. And when we give it the space and the environment to do so, that goes a long way. So thank you all so much. It was great talking to you. I hope you have a wonderful and beautiful day, and we'll be in touch. Thank you.